It's the Billy Revolution. It's up to you. Billy Revolution is what you gotta do. The Billy Revolution, a quadrilateral grow. Under your chin, not in the center though, cause it's the Billy Revolution. It's the Billy Revolution. It's the Billy Revolution. Billy Revolution. Welcome everyone to season 3, episode 4, I believe, 5 maybe. We have made a grave error in not reading from great books to base our little discussions on. So today I'd like to, without any further ado, read this to you. Man is a species, and women too, sorry about the sexist language from the past. Man is a species with some notable though few exceptions, such as artists, tends to be slavish. Slavishness is an outgrowth of laziness, itself a manifestation of the inertia that all matter is subject to. To be active is to swim against the current, and it is an effort that few are willing and fewer still are able to make. The majority simply follow and are molded into the form desired by their strong men. We should remember that in virtually all societies, present and past, men have had their political systems, and women of course, and consequently their norms of behavior imposed upon them. Even the so-called democracies of ancient Greece and the 20th century Western world have, as a rule, been manipulated from above to the total satisfaction, for the most part, of the mass. Universal suffrage remains an attractive concept that becomes a burden in practice. Men and women are always happier with the appearance than with the reality, with the theory than with the practice, with the abstract platitudes than with the concrete responsibilities. And today it's a great opener to look at what's happening right now in the world, the digital world at least, that so many of us are becoming increasingly present in. And what this has been coined by someone, and it's called surveillance capitalism. And the fundamental of surveillance capitalism has to do with your data. That is the information about you, and the information about you being manipulated for the benefit of business and for businesses to make money selling your data, but even more importantly, to mold you. And this is done in many different ways. And of course, as the tools become increasingly sophisticated to measure your data, it will become even more sophisticated. So I think people realize that platforms like Facebook send them news feeds that fit a certain criteria of what they're looking for. And so in that way, people are getting fed the same medicine that they have already swallowed time and time again, often in a way that gets them very keyed up about it. So the abundance of people being upset about things and having a sense of moral superiority and righteous indignation is on the rise. It's on the rise because people are looking at platforms that bring that out in them, that feed that concept, that black and white thinking, and that lack of nuance. It's one of the ways that little eyes keep viewed to the screen, which is the goal of these of the screen people, right? And then the other thing that's really worth noting that maybe some people aren't aware of is the way that that third parties are impacting with the way that the news is fed, impacting outcomes for elections. Not just based on advertising that will sway you a certain way, but based on what kind of advertising will sway you, because we know so much about you, because we have all these algorithms that allow us to know this. But more importantly, there's algorithms being developed that find youth or anybody with anxiety or depression, and they use that information to create products, to create you as a good consumer buying products. It sounds so much like what Wellworth is describing in Themes of Drama about the way that people are happy to be molded from the top, that the mass is, for the most part, thrilled. And we have a titillated mass. We really do. We in many ways, we have a mass that is fascinated with their digital devices, fascinated with the digital world and all the things that it's encompassing. So the problem is that we end up with a less critical mass. We end up with a consumers. We really take that final step of turning people from being people into consumers. The other thing that I think is so worrisome about surveillance capitalism, the last thing we'll talk about today at least, is that it actually can impact things like your level of depression, your level of the way you feel, your level of anxiety. So it's not just picking up who you are, it's molding who you are and then coming up with products to sell to you. So we have to start to analyze what the main analysts in these organizations think are so important, what make you so malleable as a consumer. It's a sad topic. Turn off your computer, get outside, get some fresh air, and remember that you know where you are, and now they're starting to know where you are too. Have a great week.
You and I are quite alike. You drove your car, baby. I brought my bike. You know that it is such a funny game when we pretend we're just the same.
Rishi is fascinated in the addictiveness of the screen and has been doing a lot of research and a lot of writing dissertations about it, and trying to encourage the government to create better laws to protect the average person in the population. David is also fascinated by the addiction to the screen, and he's working for a company that invents addictive games so that people never get off the internet. They're doing the same thing.
It's the Billy Revolution. It's up to you. Billy Revolution is what you gotta do. The Billy Revolution, a quadrilateral grow under your chin, not in the center though, 'cause it's the Billy Revolution. It's the Billy Revolution.